Hello,
right.
Dave.
Hi.
How are you? Since our test at half an hour ago.
I'm doing great. Yes.
Yes, so before we start, let me just speak in Portuguese, ok?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Olá a todos os que estão aí do outro lado, já vi que entraram algumas pessoas. Pelo menos para aqueles que são portugueses, eu faço sempre estas conversas em português, mas hoje, porque o nosso convidado é holandês, ainda que perceba o português, achámos que seria melhor que esta conversa fosse em inglês. Eu queria fazer a tradução em português, mas acho que a conversa não iria correr tão bem, porque ia estragar, ia estar sempre em inglês, português. Por isso peço que tenham paciência. Eu vou pela primeira vez, portanto é uma estreia, falar em inglês nesta entrevista e depois vou tentar, se conseguir, fazer a tradução através de legendas depois do direto, ok? So now we can speak in English and all in English, okay? So, but if someone has questions, so just one more thing in Portuguese. Se alguém tiver perguntas e que seja em português, pode fazer em português e nós depois tentaremos responder ou em português ou misturando aqui com o Dave em inglês também. So let's start in English, okay? So hello everybody, welcome to our talk today. Hello Dave.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, because when I spoke with Christina, you cannot be here, so I'm glad that you are now.
Yes.
So today we are going to talk about fear. That is one of expertise of Dave.
Yes.
Okay, fear and danger. But I will make like a brief introduction of Dave, and I write to so because it's different in Portuguese. So Dave is a performance enhancement psychologist and is expert in high performance tennis. He's also an ATP World Tour coach. He's an expert he's an expert in fear and aggression.
Face your fears.
Face your fears, yes, no fear. He's also the author of, in partnership with Cristiano Ronaldo, of the book Mental Training in Tennis. So they work as a couple, okay, and they work together in their company that's called Rolo Mental Coaching. So besides tennis, Dave and Christina work with high-performance athletes and also coaches from other sports, not only tennis, okay? But Dave has a very interesting background because he's a Dutch, he's from Holland, and he was a professional basketball player. He's also experienced in leadership and business coaching. And today, so I want you to start to speak about that experience, because you were a professional basketball player. And can you share with us your journey in becoming a professional and your change for the USA, from Holland to USA, all the obstacles that you have to overcome and your achievements?
Yeah, well, it would be my pleasure. Like a conversation we had earlier, I started as a judoka. And a judoka,
Yes.
because I was a very shy kid, and I was stuttering. I couldn't relate. So my parents decided to teach me a martial arts with a very good school. But at the time that I was going to decide to stay in judo or go to another sport, my father had an accident. He was a soccer player, but because of the accident, he went to a wheelchair, and he started playing wheelchair basketball. And I was around basketball all the time because I liked hanging out with my father. And I started to grow really fast. Also, I grew 30 centimeters in 1 year. And
oh my God.
Yes. So it became a kind of an easy decision, because for judo, it's not very good to be really tall.
It's true.
And they suggested, you know what, pick up a basketball, see what you can do. And because I guess I come from performance family, my mother was also...
Dave, just one minute. You have to say that you have 2 meters tall, right?
Yes, I'm 2 meters
You're
5
big.
actually.
Two
Yes,
meters five. Okay.
I'm the short one in the family.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So was I? Yeah. Both my parents were performance athletes. My mother was a gymnast, and my father was a soccer player before, and then became a wheelchair basketball player. He was world champion, European champion, national champion. He was every kind of champion. So it was kind of in his blood and in my blood to always overachieve, I guess I would say. So really quickly in basketball, I started to show that yeah, there was something about me that I was different kind of style of playing. My kind of style is now very, very normal. You see many players in the NBA playing like that. I'm not saying that I am like an NBA player, but I was definitely playing in a style that was getting noticed. But at the same time, when you're going from your club and to the regional teams and you go from the national teams, yeah, there's always fear. And I had to overcome a lot of fear. And some of the fear is also, will my friends still like me? Because you hear really nasty things when you're starting to become better than the average player. Uh, that's another kind of fear, because the fear that I want to talk about today is not a clinical fear, not clinical psychology kind of fear-based irrational fears. I'm talking about everyday normal fears that you and I have. There's nothing wrong with you when you have these fears, because yeah, we all have them. So early in my career, I quickly became a junior professional, which allowed me a platform to play internationally. And I got noticed through the Dutch national team. I got noticed by exhibition matches. So I got a full scholarship really quick when I was 16 to go to America. And I moved to America. And it's for a Dutch boy to get a full scholarship, that was unheard of in the time that I went to America in the 90s. Which is so special. And kind of fear also, because you have to make good on what they're paying you, because they're almost paying you $300,000 to go play for their school, and a Division 1 is like the highest level you can play on. So again, you know, am I good enough? This is a fear that basically every human being who can breathe
Yes.
has. Am I good enough? You know.
Let me just ask you something. Where were you going in USA? Where were you based?
Well, I kind of roamed a little bit. I started in Pennsylvania. I did 1 year high school. I was advised to do that because of I had good English skills, but I didn't really know the culture yet. And basketball, my style was so different. So they opted to let me play 1 year high school, and I got a lot of recruitment through high school. Because I was a tall man, a tall boy, I should say at that time, and able to shoot 3-pointers. And at that time in the 90s, there were not many tall men that can shoot 3-pointers and do other things that is unlike for tall people. Because my measurements are, I'm tall, but my measurements are basically more explosive, not as lanky as a lot of very big, heavy tall guys. I'm not a big, heavy guy. More athletic, and that the style allowed me to play a style that was very attractive. So I got a full scholarship. But we talked about obstacles and the fear that comes with it. Am I good enough? Also the fear of having to please everybody, because I still had friends back home in the Netherlands. I had a girlfriend at the time, and to please people, and that's also kind of fear, like are people gonna still love me for me, or all these kind of things that really can hack into your potential for performance.
There was
So
a lot of pressure, right?
oh yes, because I was one of 3 Dutch boys that were the first players to go to the United States with a full scholarship. So even the country was looking at us like, what's going to happen to them? A lot of boys, they would go, but they wouldn't stay. They wouldn't survive very long. Maybe after 1 month, they would already be shipped back. And I stayed in the United States for 6 years. So I was actually able to grasp how I needed to transform myself. Another fear, because my natural body is an ectomorph, mesomorphic kind of body, which is not really body build kind of. But to be able to play my position in America, I had to gain almost 18 kilos, or like close to 20 kilos of muscles. So I had to train really hard.
It's a lot.
Yes, there's a lot of muscle, especially
20
for
kilos.
I don't gain weight that easy. So for me to be able to produce that, a lot of fear started coming in. Am I able to get to that weight for my position? Because playing Division 1, it's a different world. You're playing against really big guys. They're all Division 1 level. Imagine the top players. You're going to have to compete with that. I mean, I had some talent, I had some skills, but I didn't have the body to match. So yeah, when I signed that contract, I said, okay, I'm going to play for your school. I was making a commitment. A lot of people were like, some people they're hoping that you fail. I mean, I don't know if you ever have that fear for people that are trying to bring you down while you're trying to do the best you can. So these are all things that I personally experienced, and I noticed that in my consulting, even as a basketball player after my college career or university career, I used that in my professional area. When I started playing professionally, I was actually already coaching while I was a player. I was always trying my teammates to help them be positive and have good discipline.
But you were coaching like a natural coach, right? Or
yeah,
because you went to university, right? What was the university that you?
I studied
North Carolina.
North Carolina at Asheville.
Yes.
I studied sports psychology, or actually psychology, clinical psychology, which I found very interesting. But I was like, yeah, but there's a lot of clinical psychologists already, and at that time it became really interesting in America that performance psychology, positive psychology, or preventative psychology. There's so many names you can give to it. I like to call it performance enhancement kind of psychology, because the people I meet, I work with, they're all special. They're really special people, and they're already, when I meet them, they're already good. There's nothing wrong with them. They're good players. They're good professionals. They're good businessmen, businesswomen, if I can say. So I don't have anything to really say there's something wrong. But my psychology, what I'm trying to teach them, is to make them from go to good to great, to go from great to excellent, to the little differences that in the top make huge differences. If you look at even Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, your hero from Portugal, in the difference that he has, he works the very little things and mental things, very important things that, you know, being able to control your fears. And it doesn't mean that nobody has fears, but be able to manage them is different. Being able to pull out your potential in the moment that it's really important, that's what it's all about. And when you work with excellent people like that every time, and I'm so glad that I chose to go into the performance enhancement area, and I specialized in there. I even was able to be co-founders of certain theories that I devised with Dr. Cristiano Ronaldo. And yes. I'm very blessed. And last time we talked, I know I'm not much of a talker, but when I talk about my subject, I can talk.
You talk a lot.
Yes, I talk a lot. Yes. So yes, that's basically I was a businessman after my professional career for 5 years. And I kind of stopped that because in my last year, I asked my direction secretary, I said, do you see me happy? Because I was becoming fearful that I was not doing the right thing. Just making money wasn't really my sole desire. And she said, well, you know, the happiest I see you is every Monday morning when you do sales training for the sales team. You give them tools, you coach them, you try to give them confidence to be able to get the best out of the business, you know. And I started to thinking, and at that time I also met Christina. She became my romantic partner and also my business partner.
Yes,
really
which is not easy.
Yeah,
what is not sometimes.
It's challenging because Christina and I are opposite spectrum, but we like to say we meet in the middle. It's like a book, you know. You have one side.
You are a good team, right?
Fantastic. I mean, we don't see eye to eye to everything, but we at least acknowledge that we are working towards the same goal. And it's awesome to see different specialties, different areas, different ways, also different culture, different background. Christina was a multi-talented athlete that's played national ranking, and I was a one sports-focused professional. Gives our company such wide variety to be able to assist people with almost anything they ask for.
So we will come back to that's the sports part, okay, and the high performance athletes and coaches. But you spoke a little bit about fear, and you have to some challenges. You have to handle fear. But for the people that are listening us, exactly what is fear? Fear is something natural. Is it logical?
Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah, I'll tell you, because it's so simple that it makes it complex. And the reason, first of all, let me tell you, when I studied psychology, I like I said, I was fearful, and it sometimes made me so fearful that I would have aggression. And these two things are actually related. If you don't control your fears, you can actually have two results. You can become very timid or very aggressive. And I had the other spectrum. I was very aggressive, which was good for my sports, because I was ferocious and I was unforgiving in my sport. And people would be really surprised that outside the court I was the nicest guy, but when I was playing basketball, they would say, "Whoa, you guys, you're really crazy, man. You know, you do everything." I said, "Yes." But to answer your question, yeah, what is fear? When I teach small children I keep it very simple. I say, how do we spell fear? Well, F-E-A-R. You know, that's how you spell fear. And we say, to keep it simple, it represents false evidence appearing real.
Can we repeat false?
Yes, false. Yeah, so false evidence appearing real. So it's just appearing as reality. And because we have become such psychosocial complex beings on this planet, we have devised all kinds of coping mechanisms. We've kind of let ourselves be away from nature, because if you compare yourself to an animal, they don't really have fear. They have danger. They detect danger. And I already saw that in the title, that to differentiate between fear and danger, you have to have the understanding of what's happening right now at the right moment where you are in. If it's real in front of you, then it's danger, and then you can be fearful, and that you can run, or you can fight, or like a possum, you can pretend you died. You know, you can just faint. That's a natural reflexes which you're born with. You don't even have to do anything about that. Some people have gone through a very crazy accident and they don't even know how they were able to manage the car from swerving off the road. Or I myself, as a motorcyclist, I was almost in a really bad accident, but my reflexes took over. And your reflexes are directed by the lower part of your brain, is the cerebellum. The cerebellum part is directly connected to your spinal column, and it sends the message really lightning speed to your muscles so you can react. So no thought process is involved in danger. So if you know that, fear cannot be real. If you actually are aware that you're fearful, then you can really realize that you're not in the present moment. Because in the present moment, if you look, there's no grizzly bear in front of you. There's no plane going to crash on top of you. So when you learn to live in that reality, then you actually become a fearless person, because you know what fear is. And then you can learn with training to stop that way of thinking. Because when you're preoccupied, like the word says, if you're preoccupied with fears, you're not really able to let yourself access your talents. You're not able to access your reflex system.
Your creativity, right?
Yes. I mean, you were a volleyball player. If you are fearful in the court, and the ball is coming at you, and you're doing everything with your brain, not your reflex system, you're going to be slow. You're going to be late.
Yes.
And your brain is actually not able to see reality no more, because it sees your past, it sees your future, because we can actually think into the future, and that's the capacity of our brain. We have imagination, and we imagine such horrible things sometimes that makes us cramp up, and the muscles that get directed normally by the cerebellum cannot function the way they should be. Because if you have a fluid reflex, you know what antagonist muscles are?
Yes.
Okay, so you
So
have
it's like the bicep. Yes.
yeah, you already know it. Well, that's the cool
Yes.
thing about you. You have so much knowledge already, so it's easy to talk to you. What for the viewers at home, a bicep and a tricep are antagonists. They are like their brother and sister. The one is to bend the arm, the other one is to extend the arm. In a reflex, an antagonist will never fire together. It will never work against each other. In a reflex, it's fluent. Like emotionless, it's like a machine. And so it's not governed by fear. If you see, for example, I see players sometimes, they ask me, so why am I not hitting the tennis ball like I should? It's not feeling in flow. Well, maybe they're not fearful, but they're in their head instead of in their lower part or in their spinal column. And if they would be able to play from their automatic reflex system, they would be faster. They'll be like a lightning, like a cat. You'll be so fast. And but if you're not trained in that area, you actually can get stuck in a spiral of fear. You can go down, down, and then you hear like choking or blocking or completely mental block.
So let me just make a pause and give you an example of what you're saying, because you speak a lot and sometimes I have to make some pauses.
Hey, it's your show.
Yeah,
your show.
No, but for example, in football, when you have penalties, so there's the bold players, they pick up the ball and go to make the goal, right? And there are the others that are hiding, and I don't want so. But for what you're saying, I think it's important to know that fear is some kind is natural, and it's good at some point, right? Because it's good in the sense of when we have danger, we know and we learn that we have to be fear sometimes. I don't know if so. If I'm going to a place like a mountain or a cliff, so it's very high, so I have to be careful, and I have a little bit of fear of the height, and I give one step behind, right? So it's a normal reaction, and it's good. What you're saying is the fear in excess, it will paralyze our thoughts, our creativity. And in sports or in real life, when you want to change something, imagine that you are in a work like a 9 to 5, but you want to make a move. You want to change, to do something that you dream. And sometimes fears are irrational, I think. And you think and think and think,
and it never gets smaller.
And you don't do, you don't do, and that's the problem. I think that's the major problem of fear, or one of, is that one, because if we live all the time thinking about that, we are not living a good life. We're not living like you say.
Well, you cannot get to your true potential.
Yes, that's it. So,
and what you're saying is exactly right. It's just one extra filter I would like to add to your good population.
Of course.
There's one extra filter on top of that. You have to have it in the here and now. Then fear response is real. But like I said, if it's really dangerous for you, you won't probably even be cognizant of it. Because if you think, like, let's be like a funny, comical example. You're walking in that same mountain, and a grizzly bear jumps out of the bushes.
A real one.
A real one. It's right in front of you. Do you have time to say, oh, well, in this situation, I don't think I should fight this. I think I should run. Well, he's already on top of you. Yeah, but
or jump off the cliff.
Jump off the cliff. Yeah, better to die like that.
Fight with the bear.
Like, because of the thought process, it takes so long. you'll be dead already. So nature actually built you from the moment that you were conceived. Your nerve endings, everything has been designed for you. We are basically all Ferraris. Such a super biological organism that's been designed to have automatic things like eye movement, your heart rhythm, your breathing is all cerebellum. It's all done for you. It's like, wow, you know, we are living in this technology where everything is done for us. But the most important thing, that you're breathing and that your heart keeps pumping and that your eyes don't dry up, you know, is done for you. So
Yes.
also, if we start realizing, if we really realize and start trusting that our internal self will save us, our brain immediately will let go and let the cerebellum get us out of danger. Your body
Yes.
gets jolted with adrenaline. You are becoming 400 times stronger. You hear the most amazing stories sometimes when people get this shock of real fear, real danger, I should say, because I really would like to separate these two, because fear is only real in the here and now. If you're thinking and you're sitting like I'm here comfortably on my terrace in the chair, and I'm becoming fearful, the moment I'm realizing I'm becoming fearful, I should stop. I should really do something active, mental. We train people to become aware first, and then we actively give them tools how to get out of that thought process, because it also is energy draining. You can imagine.
Yes.
You can imagine.
I know what is that.
I mean, Janika, everybody knows this, right? From being positive, the glass is half full. Well, that's not this. That's not this part. It's also holding the glass. Everybody can hold a glass of water.
Yes, I'm going to drink. Yes.
Saud.
Cheers.
But if you would hold, cheers. If you would hold that glass in front of you with a straight arm for 1 minute, you might start feeling it. But you're an athlete, so you won't even feel it. But if you hold that all day long, let's say that glass is a negative thought or fear thoughts, and you have more fears, and throughout the days you get more fears, but you're still holding on to that thought process. Oh, am I good enough? Or my friends, do they still love me? Or will I get that contract? Or if I lose my job? These thoughts, and nothing is real yet, and none of it is real. We make it worse holding on
by thinking.
Yes, and because a negative thought fires so fast, it's like 1,600 thoughts per minute. Yeah, we're not aware of it.
Yes.
But I would tell you, one positive like formulation. I'm not saying positive, oh, I'm such a great guy. No, I'm talking about an affirmative speech with assertiveness. Say to yourself, but it's not going to happen. Or say something like, yeah, but it's not now. It's not here now. You know, I did not lose my job. Can counteract a whole day of negative thinking, and you regain all kinds of energy again. But if you don't do that, you become more tired. You actually, you know, you see people, you have stress, you know, and you can see people who are in a stressful life. I mean, I have stress. I have positive stress, which is sometimes I also have to manage. Because I'm around really special people all the time. That's very exciting for me. But you can tell when somebody's not able to manage their fear in their life. And of course, we are specialists in this area. And when people entrust us and we coach them, they find out, although our coaching is professional and it's really tailor-made for them, they all of a sudden find out that they were all along equipped with all kinds of things, naturally born. Rolo Mental Coaching taps into the individual's natural talents already, which you were born with. They were just hidden under a blanket of a lot of self-confidence issues, trauma, danger.
Like several layers, right?
Yeah, like fear thinking, so many layers. And when we peel all that stuff off, you get to talent. You get to natural ability, because these people, I mean, any person, I'm not just talking about my clients who are very special high performance athletes or businessmen. I'm talking any individual. I meet somebody at the bus stop, or I meet somebody at the local swimming pool that is a father of a kid that's playing with my child, and I have conversations, and then they tell me, because they obviously we talk about what I love to talk about performance enhancement psychology, and then they say, oh, okay, could you give me a tip? And then all of a sudden they realize what I'm saying to them is not all that like special. It is special that it's been talked about and it's been guided by coaching. But as soon as they realize with some bridge work and help and tools that they're very capable. Because if I give you a hammer right now, some nails, you know what to do. You know, if you have need of a hammer.
Yes.
So, but you're not walking around with a hammer all day long. So that's what the coaching is for, that you get the right tool for the right time. And what we're working towards is to give people the knowledge and automation to do it themselves, to choose the tool, which is there. It's in you. It's just recognizing when to do what.
Yes, it's like to understand the process, right?
Yes.
And the tools that...
And that's coaching and that's training.
Yes.
Just like going to school. I'm actually sad that the mainstream schooling system doesn't teach performance psychology, because lifestyle coaching, even if you take it a little smaller, you don't have to do high performance. Just teach people when to do what. Even for taxes, I mean, some people get super nervous, but if you just spend one day and taking a good course in how to do your taxes, you get rid of all your insecurity issues and you know how to do your own taxes. But people are fearful. Yes. And then because they're fearful, they don't want to educate themselves. But with knowing the rules, you become very, very proficient.
Yes, but let me just pick in what you're saying. And we spoke a little bit about our society and the pressure of the information, because we live in a, how do you say, information era, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The information is available at our ends, right, with the cell phone.
Yeah,
we have a lot of, yes, how do you say, a lot of noise of, how do you say in English, stimulus?
Stimuli.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. A lot of options, which is very difficult, because when, before, it was more like a closed society, and for having the information, not everybody could access information, but now you have it. So I think one of the difficulties
on both spectrum. On both,
yes, bad and good,
and
yes.
really bad. Yeah, really
yes,
bad
yes.
And, really
but does that increase also fear? I know that increase stress, of course, right?
I mean, in the past, it was like when I was a basketball player, I had to choose between school. In my country, in Holland, I had to choose between school or high performance sports.
Yes.
There was no other option. Now there's all kinds of academies, but nowadays it's so much you don't even know, because anybody can be an academy these days, and anybody can be a coach. But I think Christina already mentioned that in her interview with you, that there's a difference if you have somebody like Christina, who's gone to university level 12 years to get her coaching degree and get like a certification from ASP, the huge organization worldwide, or somebody get their coaching degree one weekend in a cereal box, and they can also call themselves coach. So that can become very fearful for people. And I always say, okay, you know, you get what you pay for sometimes. Yeah. I don't want to say that anybody that charges huge amount of money or charges a little bit of money are good or bad, but check your feeling. That's why we always do an intake conversation with somebody. We tell people, let's just have a conversation and let's see how the chemistry is. Even if you feel great about us, we might not feel good about you, or vice versa. Maybe we really would like to work with you, but you feel like, no, you're not it for me. And
yes.
that's already really
so
good
I
filter.
have 2 more questions, Dave, for you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, because let's go back to the sports area. That is your area, and Christina. I think you're frozen. Okay.
No, I was just really listening attentively.
Okay. So you work with, you both work with the high performance athletes and also coaches, right? because
Yes.
it's very difficult to be a coach. Yes.
Yeah, well, different
Very challenging,
specialties.
very challenging. Now, I don't say you're a coach like you, it's difficult also,
Yeah,
but
technical
I'm
tactical
talking about,
coaches.
yes, technical coaches or
Yeah.
in like team sports, but also individual sports that has another challenges, okay?
Even with the managers, we work with the whole
It's,
concept.
yes, it's very, there's a lot of pressure. But so you were also ATP coach in tennis, right? In the
Yeah.
ATP World Tour. So
Yes. Yeah,
I
World
was
Tour.
liking the word, I'm sorry. In tennis, but you work also with other sports and other organizations, right?
Yeah.
So what other sports you
Well, it's a
basketball?
very wide variety. Well, actually,
Yes,
that's the ironic part. I'm
yes. You
very
don't work with,
embarrassed. I'm
yes,
very embarrassed. I do occasionally talk with some basketball players, but I wouldn't consider them coach, because if I just did an hour consult, I don't right away consider myself their coach. You know, it's just sometimes specialistic things about like free throw issues on high pressure
yes.
moments, and I'm just called in for a special situation for the shooting coach having issues with a player, and I wouldn't really want to call myself their coach. But we work with musicians, even guitarist or a singer or an actor, uh,
You
anybody
work in
that,
high performance, right?
yes,
In
and
the very high, yes,
think about
top.
anything that any job that you're like public speaking, that's high performance. A person that's like a political figure, somebody who has to address people for thousands of people that are needing him to be solid, need him to be really be able to get to what he knows, what his wisdom is, and not be stricken by fear that he cannot access what he has to share with all these people that want to listen to him. So we work on media training, we work on speech training, we work on any angle. But in sports, different kind of sport, we work with jockeys. What do you call it? Grand Prix horse jumping,
It's
which
jockey,
was,
jockey.
yeah, which was very interesting, because you're not only dealing with a human being, you're also dealing with a horse,
With
and
the horse, yes.
a horse has also fears, and so
Yes.
it's a binary situation where the horse and the client have to be separately viewed. So we actually also work with the horse. It's really was really interesting.
David, do they have like the sports, the athletes, and also the high achievers like musicians and whatever? They have like common fears
Yes.
or common that you work with them,
Well, common fears.
or
I would,
it's not
yes.
what is common in the work that you do with them. They all have
Well,
something in common, like to achieve the true potential.
yes,
What are
what we do is we've always start with an intake, like I said, and we make a profile. We try to highlight for them what should be really clear, but for most people it's not really clear. And when we make the profile, and then you really find out what you're already pretty good at, but you didn't really have enough tools in, which will right away exceed really fast. You'll really right away start showing good promise. And then you find out things that are underdeveloped, didn't get much attention. And then you also find out bad routines. Routines that are, or sometimes rituals that are actually hurting your life. And also you find out certain skills that would be better for another profession. It's nice, you know, it's really
yes.
nice that you're really art and creative, but you're a businessman. You need to be really unemotional and be able to be getting to negotiation tactics. So it's nice that you are very creative, but we're going to use that creative talent for other means, not just make really nice pictures and drawings and paintings. So in that profile already, you get a sketch, a real good idea who you are. Some people say, yeah, but I know who I am. You would be amazed how many people don't really know who they are. And most people underrate themselves. They don't give themselves enough credit. I'm a very positive person, of course, and I always try to see the best in everybody. But my vision of them is not often wrong. It's not so that I'm living on a pink cloud. But I just happen to have a lot of experience in recognizing talents and skills that were dormant or were not as
Yes.
at the surface. And we start yanking at that. We don't focus on problems they might have. We don't even use the word problems in our coaching. We say challenges. Because people that are starving in Africa, for example, those people have problems. In our rich world where we live in, we cannot talk problems. I think it's a blasphemy to be saying problems. We are very luxurious. We have fantastic lives. If you have a cell phone and you're watching this show right now, you're already top 10% of the world, of the richest people. But we don't always realize that, how much blessings we already have, how many talents we were born with. Yeah, you did not have this training. You went to school and you were educated in a certain system, and that system did not provide you the tools to excel in your sport or in your area where you'd like to excel. You did the best you could with what you had, but of course, why do you think that Fortune 100 companies send their CEOs to a weekend of a $30,000 training with a creative leadership camp? Well, because it's worth it. The 30,000 that they spent, which for a lot of people think is a lot of money, they will probably make that back in the next month or the next week.
True.
Because the person that's talented and already shows so much skill to be able to get that position is now hyper functional, is now becoming top professional, not just professional. And that's the difference in clinical psychology and our area of psychology, which is not as famous in Portugal yet. I haven't seen any big names or big colleagues. I see a lot of lifestyle coaching here, and there's a famous person here in Portugal that does a lot of there are nice theories, but there's so many of them in America that it's not. We like to focus on not just theory. We really, that's why we wrote the book. The book ended up being theory and giving tools, so you can right away, actually at home, try it with your coach or with your son or with your daughter. Actually start doing, because what frustrated me about the books that are in the market, that there's a lot of inspirational speaking, but it's theory. At the end of the book, you're inspired. You're like, yes, I want to do it. And then you're like, but how? And I have these fears. How do I get over these fears? Well, you need some coaching, or you need have tools. And that's what I hope that I'm not going to be able to share a lot of tools, but I hope that people at home right now get the feeling, okay, I first have to change my thought process about fear and what is danger. If I already understand this bridge that I'm going over right now, that why am I being fearful? Nothing is happening to me right now. I need to calm down. Because with fear, you're pumping adrenaline in your body while you should be in a rested state. And adrenaline doesn't allow you to think properly. Adrenaline is a very bad chemical. I don't know if you ever smelled an athlete on a bicycle. They smell like acetone. They're burning their own muscles and they're hurting themselves. And that's not good. And when you do that on a daily basis, you're burning. But just because you have negative thoughts. And so if you already learn how to do that, you'll be able to get a lot of energy. You get a lot of energy. So when you are inspired and you have energy and you have a plan and you have talent and you're willing to work hard, well, what formula does that spell? That's success. You're going to get success, because if you keep pumping energy, just like you are doing with your show here, you started something. And when Christina
I was afraid, of course.
Yes, you were afraid, but you had a plan and you had an idea and you have skills. Even
but I think that if I didn't do it, it was worse.
Yeah, you would be stuck. And
because
why do you
because I was thinking that I wanted to do. Yes.
Yeah, why do you want to walk around with this thorn in your side the whole time? And you knew you could do it somewhere, otherwise you wouldn't have the idea. And you didn't do it. Oh my God! Yes. How do you want to live like that? So for all those people out there, that I'm not saying just get rid of your job and go do something what your passion is. You can gradually work towards your dreams. You can gradually work with steps. Find somebody that can help you coach, or even if it's just your partner or your kids, because my kids are my greatest inspiration. They keep me straight and they keep me inspired and they keep me humble. so I don't start thinking that I'm like the most amazing coach in the world. So they get support systems, because doing it all by yourself, I mean, I usually tell my clients, you're going to figure this out. In your lifetime, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're strong, you're brave, you're tough. So you're going to figure it out. But wouldn't it be nice if you figured it out during your sports career? Because a sports career usually is 10 years or 15
Yeah, it's very short,
if
yes.
you're lucky. So I said it would be kind of sad if you at 65, you're a coach now, and 65 you realize what you could have done in your career. And that's what
Yes, it's
we
true.
usually help. We shorten the learning curve so fast that all these amazing things can still happen during your sports career. And we also, during the sports career, we help people for another fear that we haven't discussed really quick, is post-career. What am I going to do when I'm not a tennis player, or when I'm not
You
a
know
volleyball
that,
player?
yes, I know that
I
as
had it.
a new how do you say in English? Documentary.
Documentary.
Thank you. About that post-career of gold medalists
Yeah.
like Michael Phelps. They had
Yeah.
like depression and they have
Uh,
nothing after the gold medal.
yeah.
So
A
it's
very
in,
famous
I think,
basketball.
HBO, but I'm very curious to see it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
sad. I mean, I meet players who are not my players, because I meet them on the tour, and I'm sometimes concerned for them, because when I look at them, they are like, yeah, I don't like to say this very, but they look like tennis monsters to me. You know, that's all they do. They have nothing else. Their complete identity is tennis. And
Yes.
in our coaching, we always let people know you're more than that. You're just a person that plays tennis. You're not only a tennis player. And our clients, they all, for example, my work with Victor Anescu, the coach, I was coach of him 6 years on the ATP. During his career, he wanted to retire, 29. I said, well, let's give it a go. Let's see how long we can stay not retired. And we played 6 more years. And during these 6 years, we devised ideas to make an academy for him. When he's done, he can have his own tennis academy. That he's interested to invest in hotels and buy apartments, and he could be a businessman and learn how to negotiate. And we used all kinds of opportunities to learn these things, because making a deal with a sponsor, like, okay, Wilson wants to have a sponsor with me, okay, let's negotiate, not just right away accept, you know, come on. We can also go with Dunlop, we can with all kinds of other brands, uh, just to say some other ones, Nike, or to use those moments, say, hey, this is nice that we're dealing with right now, but later, when you're done playing, you still have these skills. And what this does do for the player during his career, they're more relaxed. They're not, and especially in the last years, in the autumn of their career, they're more relaxed. They're not so worried about, what am I going to do when this is all over? Because I remember
Yes.
I went through it as a player myself, because all of a sudden I was not a basketball player anymore. I had a really black hole year when I went, before I went from pro basketball player into business, become a business owner. I had a terrible 3-4 months that I was like in la la land. I said, I don't have kids.
What do I do now, right?
Yeah, but
What do I do
it's
now?
the sensation of, wow, you know, because I was used to lifting weights in the morning, shooting training, and then in the evening I would do tactical with the team. And that went away, and I had the same routines. I had to even changed my eating patterns, because I was eating 6,000 calories a day and drinking almost 4 liters of milk a day. If I would eat like that, I would be a blimp right now. So I had to change so many things, but also the mental aspect that, yes, when I'm walking on a tennis court or a basketball court, there's not people going to come to ask for an autograph, or, you know, I'm not going to see myself on TV in a basketball game. This is weird things. It's kind of with ego, but when you learn and you get a coach to help you with that throughout the time that you're still a player, it doesn't hit you so hard. It still
Yes.
hits you, and you still will have a little bit of fear, because yes, you have been a tennis player, or a jockey, or a musician, and a lot of artists. They become fantastic authors of books, of children's stories. They use a pseudonym and they start writing awesome books, and which they were always fearful of, and they start doing it because you're getting support. And of course, a professional coach can give you the ultimate support because they are experts in finding you the right tools for the right time. A good
Yes.
friend, can do also a good job, or a good father or mother can also give you good support, which might be enough, or a good book, which hands you tools. Find material, get the intelligence going, get your education going, and then the fear goes away. Because my kids sometimes, when we're in a different country and they're playing with other kids, they're playing a different game, and they feel bad sometimes. Papa, I don't know how to play this game, and I feel I'm fearful and I'm not good enough. And I said, but do you know the rules? No. I said, well, I think you'll feel a lot better knowing the rules. So ask somebody the rules. And then they start excelling because they start practicing more, and it's step by step. But nowadays, like you said, in a culture that we are filled with information and everybody's amazing right away, because we only get to see television people, fantastic, idols and talent shows. We don't see how much work these people had to do to get a voice like that, or to be able to dance like that. We don't really see that. We only get exposed to the immediate, hey, he's good. And if I'm going to try, I have to be good right away. They don't realize that there were baby steps involved. You have to first learn.
Yeah, first to do step by
Yes.
step, right?
That there's not many people that, like, from birth sing like Frank Sinatra. You know, that's, or let me say another name, Rihanna. That's more current. And even Rihanna wouldn't say that she sings like Frank Sinatra. But I'm trying to say, it takes a process, and because our culture on the Western Hemisphere is so focused on end results, we forget that it's a process to get there, and we need to have patience. We need to have a plan, and we have to have resilience when the plan doesn't go the way we want it. We have to not become fearful and start doubting ourselves. No, we say, okay, we have to remodulate the plan. We have to change the routines. We have to ask for more coaching. Be
Yes.
assertive, but we're not assertive enough. And like we said, Portuguese people are very humble, very friendly people, but sometimes not assertive enough. And when I work here, I always ask them, hey, tell me if you think I'm wrong, or don't just do it because I say so. Do it because it feels right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm done. Sorry.
No, Dave. Yes. So we are almost 1 hour, but I have the last question for you, and you can only speak in 2 minutes, okay?
Wow, I'll try.
No, that is easy. So for maintaining an healthy body and a healthy mind, do you practice some kind of sports? Do you
Right,
continue to?
right now, not, because I have a back injury. I hurt myself,
Yes, of
but
course.
tomorrow I'm going to get my good friend, the osteopath, working on my back. He's probably watching this show right now. I'm a man. I invited him to watch. He's a very good professional, so he's going to help me out, and I'm going to be able to do exercise. I don't do heavy weightlifting no more, because I find that kind of redundant, because I don't need to look like a huge monster.
Yes.
I lost 20 kilos when I played basketball. I had to gain it, but and now
You
I
do
don't
it
need it.
for the health, not
Yes,
for the
healthy.
aesthetics.
I work
Yes.
mostly my core and balance muscle, the little muscles.
Yes.
I don't need to be so big no more. Although I'm still 100 kilos and 2 meters 5, I don't need to be big. I do Pilates, and I eat healthy. I try to eat products that are natural, so my body responds, because I do believe you are what you eat. So if you eat crap, I cannot have another word for it. If you eat crap, you cannot expect your cells to be producing
Excellent.
like healthy living.
Yes.
So if you eat beautiful foods that are good for your body, and your body recognizes them, and listen to your body if you're craving something,
And there's yes, and the exercise has a good impact on fear also.
Of course. I mean,
Yes.
for those who are
It
ex-athletes,
gives like a good feeling, right? When you do
yeah,
exercise.
I feel terrible when I cannot move. I'm dealing with pain every day because I have all kinds of injuries from my sports career. Pain doesn't bother me, but not being able to move, it's the worst thing for me.
It's
So
very hard.
I do stretching, I do all kinds of things. I do a little bit of yoga, breathing techniques, so my lungs are full capacity. And these kind of things are I don't even think about it. Just like with the athletes I work with, they do certain routines that other people find abnormal. It's abnormal for other people. They get up at 5:30 in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the morning, And before they have breakfast, they have done already so much work that other people will be like, whoa, I don't even do that in the gym. And you do that before you have breakfast. And I have routines, of course, and I'm not perfect at it. Sometimes I skip it, and I tell myself, you know what, you deserve a break. You know, I'm not too hard on myself. I'm not a professional athlete anymore. So I'd say everything within reason is good. Even if you sometimes want to drink a glass of alcohol, you know, it's not bad. You know, it's the continuation of doing bad things, and then we forget that they're bad because it becomes a habit. Yeah, I do. So sorry, I over exceeded your 2 minutes.
Yes, of course.
But it's so nice. It's so nice to talk about this topic.
It's a very nice talk with you. I really enjoy. And I don't know if you want to say something more, but we are at 1 hour.
The only thing I'd
almost.
like to say is because if the people are still hanging around, that if they have any questions, or they can contact you or go through our website. There's contact us. We have a special offer right now for people that are struggling.
You have to say the name of your site.
Yeah, it's www.rolomentalcoaching.com. You can go there, contact, and you can get a free 30-minute intake consult, which normally would cost you $300, which is free offer now in COVID period to give people an idea the only thing we ask them is to read our business flyer, so we don't have to talk about us. So we can really talk to them. And they don't have to start working with us. We don't expect them to all become clients, but they can decide if they just want to have some advice during the consult, or if they want to just buy the book. Sometimes people have the book and they're satisfied, and then like, okay, I'm glad you're helped. It's a very cheap way to get access to high-level coaching. And some people in those moments realize, you know what, I should be looking for a coach. Maybe not with you, but maybe I work with somebody else that is more around me and I can see more often. It sometimes opens the door, and it's our Rolo Mental Coaching offer to help in these difficult times where people are secluded or lost their jobs. And we would like to give a moment. There's a waiting period, but if you're patient, we will definitely get back to you and allow you to have consult with one of us.
Okay. So Dave, I expect to meet you in person one of these days and to have a coffee with you and Christina.
You gotta meet my kids. Then you know.
Yes, of course.
You really know what coaching is, because they've got coaching all their lives.
So let me just say in English and then in Portuguese, thank you. I don't know if we have like English persons, or thank you for the persons that are in the other side. E obrigado, este foi uma experiência diferente, foi em inglês. Não sei se vou conseguir traduzir isto com legendas, mas a próxima vez será em português. Adeus, um beijinho a todos. Adeus, Dave.
Bye bye, thank you.
Bye bye, see you.
Bye bye.